let's just get right into it, shall we? In this essay, I will be explaining why I think 47th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, believes the song The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived by Taylor Swift was, in fact, written about him. Before we actually get into the analysis of the song, we need a little history lesson about Donald Trump and specifically his relationship with Taylor Swift. At one point in her 2020 documentary, it was revealed that Taylor had expressed guilt for not speaking out against Trump after the 2016 election. She began by publicly endorsing two Democrats in Tennessee, her home state, in an Instagram post to her then 112 million followers. Trump reacted to these endorsements by telling reporters that he liked her music 25% less, to which Taylor responded by offering fans a 25% discount on her merchandise. In May 2020, after George Floyd was killed by a Minneapolis police officer, Trump tweeted, "When the looting starts, the shooting starts," to which Taylor responded, "After stoking the fires of white supremacy and racism your entire presidency, you have the nerve to feign moral superiority before threatening violence. When the looting starts, the shooting starts, we will vote you out in November." Before the 2020 election, she was also photographed holding a plate of cookies she'd made endorsing Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, who were Donald Trump's opponents that year. The latest installment of this drama concluded when Taylor publicly endorsed Trump's opponent in the 2024 election, Kamala Harris, in an Instagram post on September 10th. She posted this picture with the caption, "Like many of you, I watched the debate tonight. If you haven't already, now is a great time to do your research on the issues at hand and the stances these candidates take on the topics that matter to you most. As a voter, I make sure to watch and read everything I can about their proposed policies and plans for this country. Recently, I was made aware that AI of me falsely endorsing Donald Trump's presidential run was posted to his site. It really conjured up my fears around AI and the dangers of spreading misinformation. It brought me to the conclusion that I need to be very transparent about my actual plans for this election as a voter. The simplest way to combat misinformation is with the truth. I will be casting my vote for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz in the 2024 presidential election. I'm voting for @Kamala Harris because she fights for the rights and causes I believe need a warrior to champion them. I think she is a steady-handed, gifted leader, and I believe we can accomplish so much more in this country if we are led by calm and not chaos. I was so heartened and impressed by her selection of running mate @Tim Walz, who has been standing up for LGBTQ+ rights, IVF, and a woman's right to her own body for decades. I've done my research, and I've made my choice. Your research is all yours to do, and the choice is yours to make. With love and hope, Taylor Swift, Childless Cat Lady." On September 15th, Donald Trump responded to Taylor's Instagram post with a very eloquent, "I hate Taylor Swift." While I feel like the history of their years-long feud is very important to add some context here, it's not supposed to be the main focus of this video, so I am summarizing it and making it as brief as possible. However, if you do want a more in-depth view of their back and forth over the years, I highly recommend this article, which I'll link in the description. So now that we have a decent foundation for their long-standing mutual dislike for one another, let's get into the song. Please keep in mind that this is not me speculating that Taylor Swift did, in fact, write The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived about Donald Trump. This is me speculating that Donald Trump thinks the song is about him. So all of my claims would be from Donald's point of view and not Taylor's. Obviously, we're assuming that the smallest man who ever lived is meant to be interpreted in a figurative sense as opposed to a literal sense. This phrase could be used to symbolize someone who is emotionally or morally small despite outward displays of power or wealth. In this context, it could be a critique of someone who uses bravado and self-promotion to mask their inner fragility or lack of substance. In my weakest form of speculation, it is widely theorized that Donald Trump is a narcissist, which is not uncommon for those in his age bracket known as the baby boomers. This, combined with the fact that he is an out-of-touch billionaire, may make him self-centered and thus likely to assume everything is about him. Especially since he's had a long-standing feud with Swift, he may have heard this song and automatically assumed it was a slight towards him. She wrote a song about Kim Kardashian, too. What kind of a world do we live in where not even the wealthy are safe from the wrath of Swift's pen? Now for the more concrete themes of the song. It's no secret that Trump is often criticized for his brash, abrasive, and overconfident persona, which could easily be perceived as a mask for deeper insecurities. The song's potential focus on a small man who compensates for lack of depth by projecting dominance could reflect a critique on Trump's persona. His constant need for validation and praise, along with his tendency to belittle others to elevate himself, might make him feel that the song is holding up a mirror to himself and addressing his own character flaws. The song may also describe a person who is obsessed with power and status, but ultimately remains small on a deeper level. This could be a direct critique of Trump's style of leadership. His pursuit of influence and dominance over others, coupled with his frequent emphasis on self-promotion, might align with the song's themes of a person with a large ego but small virtues. The word small in this context could not just refer to physical size, but to moral, mental, and emotional smallness. Someone who may appear powerful but lacks substance. Trump could interpret any such reference as pointing to his perceived lack of empathy, self-awareness, or honesty. In a world where he frequently tries to project strength and dominance, any suggestion of emotional or intellectual smallness could lead him to believe that the song is about him. Enough history lessons and philosophical debates. We finally made it to the moment you've all been waiting for. The receipts. The lyric analysis. Let's get into it. In the first few lines, she references a Jehovah's Witness suit, which is something that Trump is known for wearing literally all the time. Jumping to the chorus, and I don't even want you back, I just want to know if resting my sparkling summer was the goal, and I don't miss what we had, but could someone give a message to the smallest man who ever lived. We all know this chorus was written about the loss of a romantic love, but it could also work in Trump's context. In his mind, she's saying to him, you like my music 25% less now, you hate me now, and I don't even want you back as a fan. I just need to know if it was your plan to ruin my life. Because obviously his admission of hate towards her had to have been soul-crushing. I'm sure she's still heartbroken about it. And I don't even miss what we had. I don't even miss you being my fan, but I still need you to know that you're a small man and I hate you. You hung me on your wall, stabbed me with your push pins, in public showed me off, then sank in stoned oblivion. Again, this could be a reference to the difference between his public and private personas, how he's very outspoken in public, and then may literally cry himself to sleep at night under the immense burden of his emotional complexity and mental depth. Cause once your queen had come, you treat her like and also ran. Kings and queens, position of power, he was the president, ergo this is about him. You didn't measure up in any measure of a man. A wiener insult? A wiener insult? How dare she? Chorus again. Were you sent by someone who wanted me dead? In his mind, he probably was. Did you sleep with a gun underneath our bed? This could be touching on his stance on gun control, and it's known that he does in fact have guns. Were you writing a book? Trump could see this as a direct reference or even a call-out. Trump has written several books between 1987 and 2023. However, it's no secret that he has made a habit of hiring ghostwriters. So in his mind, this could be Taylor calling him out for not writing his own stuff like she does. Were you a sleeper cell spy? Sleeper cell spies are often associated with the country of Russia, which Trump is very fond of. He is even friendly with their president Vladimir Putin, which is another thing he is heavily criticized for. In his mind, this is another sly reference to him. In 50 years will all this be declassified, and you'll confess why you did it, and I'll say good riddance. Stay with me here. During a televised performance on Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve with Ryan Seacrest, the band Green Day changed the lyrics from one of their most popular songs to criticize Trump. The original lyrics of American Idiot, I'm not part of a redneck agenda, were altered to I'm not part of the MAGA agenda. The band also yelled no Trump, no KKK, no fascist USA during a performance at the 2019 iHeartRadio Music Festival. One of the band's most popular songs is called Good Riddance, so this line could be seen as a reference to them. Trump is thinking Taylor's referencing other anti-trumpet musicians, and all of his ops are standing against him. Cause it wasn't sexy once it wasn't forbidden. He could view this as a call out for his previous sexual assaults and how he seems to find things sexy when he can't have them. I would have died for your sins, a reference to his reported Christian faith. Instead, I just died inside. Again, she is heartbroken he no longer supports her. And you deserve prison, but you won't get time. Donald Trump is a 34-count felon, but he will likely never serve prison time, especially now as he is serving actively as president. You'll slide into inboxes and slip through the bars. You crashed my party and your rental car. Crashed my party could be a reference to the Democratic Party. You said normal girls were boring. All he does is insult women, and he likes women with big breasts. But you were gone by the morning. You kicked out the stage lights, but you're still performing. Get those lights off! Yes. And in plain sight you hid, but you are what you did. How could you stop being my fan, Donnie? And I'll forget you, but I'll never forgive the smallest man who ever lived. On January 18th, 2025, beloved social media app TikTok was officially banned in the United States for a grueling 14 hours. Thankfully, due to Trump's efforts, we were reunited with our favorite clock app on Sunday afternoon, but we immediately realized something was awry. It quickly became clear when we found that the search for the smallest man who ever lived was changed to the smallest woman who ever lived, Taylor Swift. In my humble opinion, this was done purposely. This is, allegedly, Trump exacting his revenge. He doesn't like that Taylor wrote this song obviously about him, and he's trying to flip the narrative. It's his only defense. And that is just petty enough to be true. Now, for argument's sake, if this is true, and Donald Trump believes the smallest man who ever lived was in fact written about him, what other Taylor songs does he think are about him? Congratulations, you've made it to the end of the video. This is the part where I break character and I tell you that I don't actually believe that he thinks the song is written about him. Nor do I believe he's even heard the song or can process the words or the meaning behind it. But I think it's still funny to pretend that the literal president of the United States is so pressed about a song that came out nearly a year ago that he did something so petty with the TikTok search box just to get back at her. If you're new to this channel, I post sometimes, I don't know. Subscribe. That's it. Okay, thanks, bye. Is Donald Trump a boomer? Baby boomer generation from 1946 to 1964, and Trump was born in 1946, so don't come at me in the comments.